She's unarmed. Commander Korvax's translator chip struggled with the concept, cycling through 3 different linguistic databases before settling on the human word. He leaned forward in his command throne, all 4 eyes focusing on the single human standing in the center of the negotiation chamber. "Repeat that," he growled at his security chief, the human representative, Emma Johnson. She passed through 7 security checkpoints, no weapons, no guards, no concealed devices of any kind. Vexthul's scales rippled with confusion. "She's completely defenseless, Commander." 47 species representatives filled the observation galleries of the neutral station, all watching humanity's surrender after their disastrous first contact war with the Zrithian Empire. The largest military fleet ever assembled hung in formation outside, 3,000 warships ready to glass Earth's cities if the negotiations failed. And humanity sent a middle-aged woman in a business suit carrying a briefcase. "This is their strategy." Korvax stood, his 9-foot frame casting shadows across the marble-like floor. "Mockery?" Emma Johnson smiled up at him, not the diplomatic smile of someone trying to appease a conqueror. Something else entirely, something that made Korvax's combat implants twitch with unease. According to YouTube analytics, 99.6% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, you'll help support the channel and never miss fresh content. "Commander Korvax," she said, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber's acoustics. "Thank you for agreeing to meet. Shall we discuss terms?" The gallery erupted in whispers. Zara, the Galactic Council's senior observer, leaned toward her aide. "Check Earth's military status. Are their ships hidden nearby?" "Negative, Counselor. Their entire fleet was destroyed in the Battle of Titan. They have nothing left." "Then what?" Korvax's laugh cut through the noise, a sound like grinding metal. "Terms. You wish to discuss terms." He spread his 4 arms wide, gesturing to the view screen showing his armada. "Human, I have enough firepower in orbit to crack your planet like an egg. Your pathetic fleet is debris. Your colonies are ash. Your homeworld stands alone and defenseless." He stepped down from his throne, approaching her. "And you come to me with no weapon, not even a ceremonial blade. Tell me, Emma Johnson, how will you face us?" Emma set her briefcase on the negotiation table, clicked it open, and pulled out a tablet and reading glasses. "I won't need any," she said simply, scrolling through documents. "Now, I've prepared a preliminary framework for post-war trade agreements. I think you'll find Section 7 particularly interesting. It addresses mining rights in the asteroid belt." The chamber fell silent. Korvax stared at her. His security chief stared at her. 47 species representatives stared at her. Emma looked up over her glasses. "Is there a problem?" Korvax's translator struggled again. "You dare negotiate as if you have leverage, as if you have anything at all?" "Well, yes," Emma said, returning to her tablet. "Because ultimately, Commander, you came here to talk. If you wanted to just destroy us, you'd have done it already. So let's skip the posturing and figure out how we both move forward." She glanced up again. "Unless you'd prefer to waste more time with threats?" "I have kids to call tonight, so I'd appreciate efficiency." In the observation gallery, Zara activated her private comm to the council. "Emergency analysis required. Human psychological profile is inconsistent with military defeat parameters." Vexthul approached his commander, keeping his voice low. "Sir, this could be a trick. Perhaps they've developed some weapon we cannot detect." "Then scan her again," Korvax snapped. "We've scanned her 18 times. She's carrying a tablet computer, communication device, reading glasses, and something called a granola bar. Nothing else." Korvax turned back to Emma, who was now making notes on her tablet with a stylus, humming. The human was actually humming while standing before the military might of 3,000 warships. "Human," he said slowly, dangerously. "You will explain your confidence." "Now." Emma looked up and smiled again, that same smile. Commander, how about we start with introductions? I know this is technically a surrender negotiation, but I prefer to know who I'm working with. Do you prefer Commander, or is Korvax fine? I'm Emma. Emma's good. The gallery exploded in confusion. This wasn't how defeated species behaved. This wasn't how any of this was supposed to work, and Emma Johnson just kept smiling. Korvax's combat implants were firing warnings directly into his neural cortex. Every combat situation analysis came back the same. Insufficient data, threat assessment failure, behavior does not match parameters. You will address me as Commander, he said, forcing his voice to remain steady. And you will explain why humanity believes it can dictate negotiation terms. Not dictate, Emma corrected, pulling up a document on her tablet. Discuss. That's how negotiations work, Commander. Both sides talk, find common ground, reach an agreement that benefits everyone. She tilted the screen toward him. See? I've outlined potential trade routes that would give the Zrithian Empire access to rare Earth elements while providing Earth with manufacturing technology. Win-win. Win-win, Korvax's voice rose. There is no win for Earth. You are conquered. Are we? Emma asked mildly. Because from where I'm standing, we're having a conversation. If we were conquered, you'd just issue orders and leave. But you're here, talking to me, which means you want something other than scorched earth and rubble. Vexthul activated a holographic display, showing real-time footage from the Zrithian fleet. Human, observe. The image showed a massive dreadnought, its weapons arrays lighting up in demonstration mode. This is one ship. We have 3,000. Each carries enough antimatter torpedoes to vaporize your largest cities. Our particle beams can cut continents. Our planetary bombardment protocols are terrifying. Yes, Emma interrupted. I saw the battle reports from Titan. 17,000 casualties. I knew some of them. Her voice didn't waver. But here's my question. If you're going to use all that firepower, why are we talking? The observation gallery was frantically analyzing every word. Zara pulled up Earth's military history on her display, scrolling through centuries of data. This doesn't make sense, she muttered to her aide. They should be desperate, pleading, offering anything to survive. Perhaps their species lacks survival instinct, the aide suggested. No species reaches spaceflight without survival instinct. On the negotiation floor, Korvax circled Emma like a predator. You claim you knew the casualties at Titan. Did you know them well? My nephew was piloting a frigate, Emma said, still focused on her tablet. The Defiance. It rammed your flagship after its weapons were destroyed. She looked up. Did a fair bit of damage before it was vaporized, according to your own after-action reports. Bought the evacuation ships time to escape. Korvax remembered that ship, remembered the insane trajectory, the complete disregard for self-preservation. That was tactical idiocy, suicide. That was Tom, Emma said. He was 23, loved baseball, terrible at poker. She returned to her notes. And that's kind of my point, Commander. You can destroy our ships, our stations, our cities, but you're going to have a hard time with the actual people. Your people will die like any other species when exposed to vacuum, Vexthul interjected. Oh, sure, Emma agreed. We're not bulletproof. We die just fine. But we've been doing this dying thing for a long time, and we've gotten pretty good at not staying dead as a species. She pulled up another document. Earth History Lesson. Ice Age, Black Plague, World War I, World War II, Spanish flu, various nuclear close calls, climate disasters, you name it. Still here, still kicking. Korvax slammed one hand on the negotiation table, making the structure shudder. History is irrelevant. This is military reality. Is it? Emma met his four-eyed gaze without flinching. Because I did some reading on Zrithian military history too. Your species has fought 3 major wars in the last 2 centuries. Know how many you won? Silence. 3, Emma continued. Impressive. Truly, you're excellent at warfare. But here's the interesting part. In all 3 wars, when things got difficult, the other side surrendered, negotiated, gave up. She leaned forward. Commander, what happens when you fight someone who doesn't know how to quit? In the observation gallery, Zara's aide pulled up comparative war histories. His scales went pale. Counselor, Earth has records of over 15,000 distinct military conflicts in the last 3,000 years. How many did humans surrender? Completely? The aide scrolled frantically. None. They've lost battles, lost wars, lost territories, but the species as a whole never stopped fighting. They just regrouped, adapted, came back. Zara stared at Emma Johnson, who was now offering Korvax a granola bar from her briefcase. You look stressed, Emma said. These help. Peanut butter chocolate chip. Korvax ignored the granola bar, his tactical implants working overtime. You're stalling, hiding something. Where is your secret weapon? Secret weapon? Emma unwrapped the granola bar herself and took a bite. Commander, I'm a former high school history teacher from Ohio. I have 2 kids, a mortgage, and a cat named Mr. Whiskers. The most dangerous thing in my house is the Lego pieces my son leaves on the floor. She chewed thoughtfully. Unless you count my daughter's attitude, but she's 14, so that's just standard. Vexthal's scanner showed the same results for the 19th time. Commander, perhaps the weapon is orbital, hidden behind their moon, or... We'd have detected it, Korvax snapped. Our sensor arrays can find a pebble in deep space. There's nothing. He turned back to Emma. Then what is this? What are you hiding? I'm not hiding anything, Emma said patiently. That's what I'm trying to explain. There is no hidden fleet, no superweapon, no alien allies coming to save us. It's just us, 8 billion humans, 1 planet, and a lot of very justified anger. She pulled up another document, which brings me back to why you should seriously consider fair trade agreements instead of occupation or extermination. You think trade agreements matter when I could reduce your cities to glass within the hour? I think they matter when you consider what happens afterward. Emma stood, walking to the holographic display still showing the Zrithian fleet. Let me paint you a picture, Commander. You destroy our cities. Okay, billions die, horrible, tragic, unforgivable. Her voice remained steady, clinical. But you can't get everyone. People survive in bunkers, in rural areas, on ships, on off-world colonies you haven't found yet, and those survivors, they remember. Survivors without industry or military capacity are irrelevant. Are they? Emma turned to face him. Humans survived the Ice Age with stone tools and fire. We built civilization from scratch, multiple times. You know what we're really, really good at, Commander? Holding grudges and solving problems with whatever we have available. Zara activated a private channel to her military analysts. Cross-reference human evolutionary history with species survival patterns. The response came back within seconds. Counselor, humans are persistence predators. Their ancient ancestors hunted by literally following prey until it died from exhaustion. They're biologically designed to not quit. Emma was still talking. You want to know our weapon? It's us. It's our nature. You can destroy our technology and we'll fight with chemical weapons, destroy our factories, and we'll make bombs in basements. Take our bombs and we'll use rocks. Take our rocks and we'll use our hands. And if you somehow manage to kill every single adult, the children will remember. They'll be taught. They'll continue. You're describing centuries of futile resistance, Korvax said. I'm describing what happened to every species that tried to eradicate us, Emma countered. Neanderthals? Gone. We survived. Dozens of predator species that should have eaten us to extinction? Dead. We're still here. Every plague, famine, disaster, and war that should have ended us. We're still here. She walked back to the table. And here's the thing about humanity, Commander. We learn. Fast. Your technology, we're already reverse engineering what we captured. Your tactics, we're studying them. Give us a generation and we'll match you. Give us 2 and we'll surpass you. Vexthul pulled up human technological progression charts. Commander, their advancement rate is anomalous. They went from first flight to moon landing in 66 years, first computer to global networks in 30, first nuclear weapon to controlled fusion in 93. And you destroyed most of our research facilities, Emma added, which means we'll have to rebuild. And when humans rebuild, we don't just restore what we had. We improve, we innovate, we make it better out of spite. She smiled. You know what powered humanity's greatest technological leaps? War, competition, necessity, and Commander, you just gave us all three with a bow on top. Korvax felt something unfamiliar. Doubt. You're bluffing, attempting psychological warfare. Am I? Emma pulled up Earth's war history. Second World War. Germany invaded Russia. Know what the Russians did? Moved entire factories east. Took their industry, their people, and rebuilt from scratch while fighting a defensive war. Then they pushed back. All the way to Berlin, she looked up. That's what humans do when you try to destroy us, Commander. We adapt, we survive, and we come back angrier than before. In the observation gallery, species representatives were calculating long-term probability curves. The numbers were disturbing. Counselor, Zara's aide whispered, if her assessment is accurate, military victory over humanity is impossible. You'd have to commit complete genocide. And even then, Zara murmured, watching Emma calmly eat her granola bar, I suspect a few would survive somehow. Korvax stared at the small, weaponless human before him and realized he was looking at something more dangerous than any arsenal. He was looking at a species that didn't know how to die. You're insane, Korvax said quietly. Your entire species is insane. That's been suggested, Emma admitted. Usually by ourselves, but insanity aside, let's talk reality. You have two choices here, Commander. She held up one finger. Choice one. You try to exterminate humanity. And I mean really try. No half measures, no occupation, no subjugation. Complete extinction-level bombardment of every human settlement you can find. That would take weeks of sustained orbital bombardment, Vexthul calculated. Exactly, Emma said. Weeks of dedicating your entire fleet to killing civilians. How do you think the Galactic Council feels about genocide, Commander? She glanced at Zara in the observation gallery. I'm guessing frowned upon? Zara activated her public channel. The Council has strict prohibitions against extinction-level warfare. The Zrithian Empire would face immediate sanctions, military intervention, and permanent expulsion from galactic civilization. So, choice one ends with you becoming a pariah state, Emma continued. And even if you succeed in killing all of us, big if, what do you gain? A dead planet and the eternal enmity of every species that wonders if they're next on your list. Korvax's mandibles twitched. She was right. The other galactic powers would never trust the Zrithians again. Choice two. Emma held up a second finger. You accept that humanity isn't going anywhere, and we figure out how to coexist. Trade agreements, cultural exchanges, maybe even military cooperation down the line. She brought up her tablet again. Earth has resources you need. We have innovative capacity that could benefit your empire. And most importantly, you gain 8 billion people who are good at solving problems, working for you instead of against you. You expect us to reward your defiance? Korvax demanded. I expect you to be smart, Emma said bluntly. Commander, your empire has been expanding for 2 centuries. Know what happens to empires that keep expanding through conquest? They collapse. Rome, Napoleon, the British Empire, the Third Reich, all the same story. You overextend, your enemies multiply, and eventually the whole thing falls apart. She met his gaze. Or you can do what humanity finally figured out. Cooperation is more profitable than conquest. Vexthul leaned toward his commander. Sir, our economic projections show that integration of human industrial capacity could increase our GDP by 40% within a decade. I don't care about GDP, Korvax roared. This is about power, about order. No, Emma said firmly. This is about survival. Yours and ours. She walked to stand directly before the towering alien commander. You want power? Real power? It's not in your fleet, it's in knowing when to fight and when to make peace. Right now, you have a choice between a Pyrrhic victory that destroys your empire's standing, or a peace that makes you the leader who brought humanity into the galactic fold. She paused. Which Commander Korvax do you want to be remembered as? The chamber was silent except for the hum of life support systems. Korvax looked at Emma Johnson, this small, unarmed, impossibly stubborn human, and realized he'd lost before he'd even arrived. Not because she was stronger, not because humanity had some secret weapon, but because she was right, fighting a species that refused to quit, that adapted and survived everything thrown at them, that saw extinction-level threats as just another Tuesday to get through. That wasn't a war. That was suicide with extra steps. Your terms, he said finally. Present them. Emma smiled, genuinely this time. Thank you, Commander. I think you're making the right choice. She pulled up the comprehensive treaty documents. Now, Section 1 addresses immediate ceasefire protocols. In the observation gallery, 47 species representatives began frantically updating their diplomatic procedures. First contact with humanity clearly required entirely new approaches. Zara made a note on her personal log. When negotiating with humans, remember, they didn't survive everything by being reasonable. They survived by being too stubborn to die. Adjust expectations accordingly. 3 hours later, the Treaty of New Geneva was signed by both parties. Korvax's signature required 4 different authentication protocols. Emma's required a thumbprint and a witness signature. You understand this changes nothing about my military superiority, Korvax said, as the treaty was officially registered with the Galactic Council. Of course not, Commander, Emma said, packing her tablet back into her briefcase. You have bigger guns, better ships, more resources, no question about any of that. But guns break, ships explode, resources deplete. Emma closed her briefcase with a click. People, though. People are persistent. And now you've got 8 billion people who are pretty motivated to prove they're worth cooperating with. She extended her hand. I think we'll surprise you. Korvax stared at the offered hand, a gesture his cultural database identified as a peace offering. Slowly, he extended one of his 4 arms and grasped it. Her grip was surprisingly firm. One question, he said before releasing her hand. What if I had chosen extermination? What if I'd ordered the bombardment? Emma's smile didn't quite reach her eyes this time. Then a lot of people would have died, Commander, and the survivors would have spent the rest of their lives, and their children's lives, and their children's children's lives, making your empire regret it. She picked up her briefcase. I'm really glad you didn't choose that path. As Emma walked toward the exit, Zara intercepted her. Ms. Johnson, the Council would like to establish formal diplomatic relations with Earth. We were unaware of humanity's unique characteristics. We're not that unique, Emma said, just stubborn. And honestly, we're tired. War is exhausting. We'd much rather trade, explore, and argue about sports with aliens than fight them. Sports? You'll see. Give it a few years. Emma checked her personal communicator. Speaking of which, I need to catch a shuttle. My daughter has a soccer game. Tomorrow, and I promised I'd be there. Zara blinked all 3 eyes. You negotiated the survival of your species, and your next priority is a children's sport? Well, yeah, Emma said, as if it were obvious. I mean, we survived, right? Now life just goes on, and life includes soccer games. She paused. Oh, and I need to hit a grocery store on the way home. We're out of milk. She left the chamber humming the same tune from earlier, leaving behind a collection of alien species representatives trying to process what had just happened. Korvax watched her go, then turned to Vexthul. Update all first contact protocols. New section. Species humanity. What should it say, Commander? Korvax thought about the small human who had walked into his negotiation chamber without weapons, without fear, with nothing but confidence and a briefcase. The human who had checkmated him through sheer stubborn refusal to acknowledge defeat. Warning, he said finally. Approach with respect. Terminate with extreme caution. Do not underestimate, do not assume surrender, and never ever assume they need weapons to be dangerous. Vexthul recorded the notation. Anything else, sir? Korvax looked out at the stars, thinking about 8 billion humans down on that small blue planet, probably already planning their next moves, their next innovations, their next stubborn refusal to quit. Yes, he said. One more thing. They're more dangerous when they smile. In her shuttle back to Earth, Emma Johnson was texting her kids, confirming dinner plans and adding milk to her shopping list. Just another day saving the world.